Alright, you guys, I wouldn't really say we're doing quadratic application problems today, more like tomorrow. I guess there's one on here that's kind of an application. But basically we're tying together a bunch of stuff you've already learned about quadratics and graphing and x-intercepts and completing the square and all of that fun stuff. So for this it says complete the square to identify the vertex and then graph. Does the vertex represent a minimum or a maximum? So the only really new thing is minimum and maximum, which is pretty easy. So if you have an upward parabola, this vertex is either a min or a max, right? This graph goes forever up, right? So does it have a maximum? No. So this has a minimum. It has a lowest point on the graph. And if we have one that goes down, we have a vertex up top here. It goes forever down, so there's no minimum, right? But this one has a highest point on the graph, also known as a maximum. Okay? So you can tell without even graphing whether or not you're going to have a min or a max, but we have to find it anyways by completing the square. But this graph right here, because x squared is positive, does it open up or down? Yeah, so since it goes up, when we do get the vertex, is it a min or a max? Yeah, so I already know that this particular problem is going to have a minimum because I have a positive x squared. So let's go ahead and complete the square, and if you were gone yesterday, hopefully this will solidify it a little more. All right. So what we do is we group our x terms together here, and we put plus a space because I want to make this a perfect square trinomial. And I'm going to move this negative 8 out of the way. And then we take half the middle number. So half of negative 2 is what? Negative 1, and we square it. So I get a plus 1. Okay. The value of this is still positive 1. So over here I have to subtract 1. So I'm not changing the value of the equation. So now I have, whoa, that was really loud, sorry. X minus 1 squared. The half goes in the parentheses there, and if you FOIL that out, you get that trinomial. And then these combine here to make negative 9. So what's the vertex, you guys? Yep, 1, negative 9. Opposite here, same here. And we're going to graph it. So I'm going to go right 1, down 9. And from this point, go left 1, up 1. And right 1, up 1. And then back to the vertex, go right 2, up 4. Back to the vertex, go left 2, up 4. And you would draw in your parabola. Now, on tonight's homework, you do not have to find all of the fun stuff. However, you will on the test have to find all the fun stuff. So make sure that you don't forget that. Right? So this one, all it says is complete the square to identify the vertex, then graph. We did that. Does it represent a min or a max? So this point is the lowest point right here. And so right next to that point, I would say that it is a minimum. Because there is no maximum because it goes forever up. And that's all you have to do for that type of problem. Okay. We're going to connect this to the last problem, all right? So this is the same quadratic. I do not know why that's doing that, sorry. Okay, the same quadratic equation right here. So y equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. And it says find the x-intercepts by factoring and verify that they make sense on the graph that we just graphed, okay? So they gave us a lovely, easy factoring problem. We're looking for what multiplies to -8 and adds to -2. So what is it? What do you think, Adrian? Good. -4, +2. So by the way, x-intercepts are the same thing as solutions, roots, and zeros, right? Those 4 words are interchangeable. So now I'm going to solve them. What's this solution going to be? What's this solution going to be? Okay, 4 and -2. Make sure it makes sense on the graph. So I'm going to go back and look at my graph. So my x-intercepts are 4 and -2. So if I graphed a little better, okay, I could hit those. So that's where the parabola crosses the x-axis. And if it's a factorable quadratic, you can find the x-intercepts by factoring, which is nice. Okay. All right, what about the sign of the discriminant? So we've talked about how to connect all these. We already know the sign of the discriminant is going to be what? Positive. Let's go ahead and find it and make sure. Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. B is -2. A is the number in front of x squared. C is -8. So I get 4 plus 32, which gives me 36, which is positive, which means 2 real solutions, which is what we just saw both on the graph and from FactorTractor. Okay? All right, what about using your graphing calculator to find all this stuff? So eventually we won't have as nice of ones, and you can actually use your calculator to help you with a lot of this. So if you guys would find a calculator. Okay, everybody have a graph? You're good? Are you good? Are you good? Okay, if your window is off, okay, if your window is not right, you can go to menu, and you're going to have to learn how to adjust your window anyways, so you might want to just look at your window anyways. Go to menu and go to window/zoom. If you want the normal 10 by 10, I normally just go to Z standard. Sometimes Zoom Fit can work really well. You might try Zoom Fit, and it showed me a little lower on my graph, but it still kind of looks funny to me. I don't know. You can also set the window yourself. So your X could be -10 to 10. My Y looks like it needed to go a little bit lower, so I could redo my Y as like negative maybe 15 instead of as low as it was. I definitely don't need to see that high up to 124, so maybe I go back to 10 for my height. All right, so you can set the window yourself, the X's left and right, the Y's up and down. So then I have a nice parabola, but even if you have it on Z standard, that's fine too. Okay. So we want to be able to find the min or the max, right, and the x-intercepts on our calculator, so that if they're not nice, we can find them by calculator, which we're going to do a lot of tomorrow. So what I want you guys to do first is press menu, and if you've got these guys, you go second calc, okay, second calc, and we're going to find the minimum, okay? So you have to know whether you're finding a min or a max. Again, this parabola has no max. We've got the lowest point, so we're finding the minimum. Then you want to go analyze graph, okay? And you want to go to minimum. So everybody go to minimum. Now you need to know in your head where that point is, right? It's the lowest point down here. So you have to go left of the point. It says lower bound. You need to be left of it. And if you've got the other calculators, trace it so it's over to the left of it. And then press enter, or press down if you've got this one. Scroll across, press enter. Okay, this is estimating. It really should be exactly 1, -9. Mine just window made it like that. All right, but it is 1, -9. Okay, so that's what we just found by completing the square, and this just did it for us, right? Anybody found the min? Anybody not find the min? Did you guys get it with these calculators? And then you got to go all the way right. Yeah, keep going further right. Now press enter. Now press enter again. Press enter again. Oh, no, it doesn't like that. Do it again. So second count. Guys, we're going to find the x-intercept, solutions, roots, or zeros. You got to do it twice. This time you go to menu, and you go to analyze graph. Which one of those are we going to use? Nope. Intersection is two graphs. Zero. So remember, what are the four words that all mean the same thing? You should learn them. Zeros, x-intercepts, solutions, and roots. They all mean the same thing. Zeros, x-intercepts, solutions, and roots. All right, so I'm going to do zeros. That's finding where they cross the x-axis. Let's do the one over here. You got to go left of it and right of it. Press enter. It's -2, 0. We can do the same thing on the other one. Analyze graph. 0, left of it, right of it, 4, 0. Okay, gave us all the points we need that are important. One then, here's an application problem. Yep. The profits in dollars for X weeks in 1 year for a small business can be modeled by the function. What form is that in, you guys? Vertex form or standard form? It's in vertex form, right? It's already got this thing squared here. Vertex form is this, x minus h squared plus k. This is vertex form. Does the graph of the function have a min or a max? Well, all we have to do is look at this sign. It's negative. Does it open up or down, you guys? Okay, it opens down. So does it have a min or a max? Yeah, the highest point right here is this point. It has no minimum. It goes forever down. So this point, or this graph, has a max. All right? And what is the max? Let's go ahead and find it. It's easy because it's in vertex form. We don't even have to graph it on our calculator. So right here, it's opposite, same. The number in front determines width. The vertex is h comma k. So my vertex is 12, 630. It gives it to us by the function, the equation. What does it represent in the context of the problem? All you have to do is look at what is the x and what is the y. Well, it says right here, the profits in dollars for x weeks in 1 year can be modeled by the function. So x is what? The number of weeks. Okay, it just said x weeks. And that means when I plug in weeks, it spits out what? Profit. Okay, the profit in dollars. So what does this actually mean? After 12 weeks, the profit for the small business is $630. That's it. All right, so it should be pretty easy application problem, and hopefully you guys are good to go.